Have you ever wondered if she secretly wants you, but refuses to say it out loud? The truth is, women rarely come out and admit their deepest desires directly. Instead, they send signals, subtle, hidden, almost like a secret code only the sharp can read. These signals are powerful, yet easy to miss if you're not paying attention. A glance, a touch, a shift in her tone. Each one can reveal what she won't dare confess. And when you finally learn how to decode them, the whole game of attraction changes. Suddenly, her silence starts speaking louder than her words ever could. You'll notice things most men are blind to, and it will give you an undeniable edge. Because the truth is, when she wants you, she shows it, even if her lips stay sealed. Today, we're breaking down the 7 signs she wants you sexually, but will never admit out loud. 1. Her eyes lock on you longer than normal. One of the first and most undeniable signs that a woman wants you sexually, but will never admit it is hidden in her eyes. People say eyes never lie, and when it comes to attraction, that couldn't be more true. If you catch her staring at you a little too long, holding eye contact just a moment past what's considered normal, it's not an accident. That's her subconscious giving her away. She may quickly look away to avoid being obvious, but those stolen glances, the quick checkouts, the way her pupils widen when you lock eyes, these are biological responses, not polite gestures. A woman who's sexually drawn to you can't always control her gaze, no matter how hard she tries to act casual. Think about it. Most women are socially trained to hide or downplay their attraction. She won't just say, "I want you." Instead, her eyes will say it for her. That's why, when you notice her staring at your lips while you talk or scanning your body as if she's trying to imagine what you'd look like closer, it's more than curiosity. It's desire leaking through the cracks. And it gets even more interesting when she looks at you and then glances down shyly, pretending she wasn't staring. That's not disinterest. It's her inner world wrestling with the fact that she wants you, but doesn't want to look obvious. You'll also notice she uses eye contact strategically. Maybe she holds your gaze longer when she laughs at your jokes. Maybe her eyes sparkle a little brighter when you walk into the room. These micro expressions aren't planned. They're instinctual. Attraction floods the body with dopamine and adrenaline, and it makes the eyes literally widen and shine. You don't need her to spell it out. Her body is already screaming the truth. Now here's the key. Most men miss these signals because they're too focused on what she's saying rather than what she's showing. If you learn to read her eyes, you'll pick up on a language more honest than words. The eyes don't play games. When she wants you sexually, you'll see it before you hear it. And once you've recognized that look, that mix of curiosity, hunger, and hesitation, you'll never mistake it for anything else again. 2. She finds excuses to touch you. When a woman wants you sexually but won't come out and admit it, her body language starts betraying her in ways her words never will. One of the clearest signs is the way she uses touch. It won't be blatant. She's not going to grab you and confess her attraction outright. Instead, she'll find subtle excuses to break the physical barrier. Maybe she brushes a piece of lint off your shirt, playfully nudges your arm when she laughs, or lets your hand linger a second too long when passing you something. These touches may seem innocent, but they're anything but random. They're her way of bridging the gap between just friends and something far more intimate. Touch is powerful because it's primal. It's one of the oldest forms of communication, and it bypasses logic completely. When she touches you more often than she touches anyone else, it's a silent signal. She's comfortable, she's curious, and deep down, she's craving that physical connection. Even if she pretends it's accidental, her body already made the decision. You'll notice she doesn't recoil or flinch. She leans in closer. She laughs harder. She lets the contact linger, just long enough for you to feel it. That's not coincidence. That's intent hidden beneath the surface. And here's the thing. Women know the power of touch. They know how it can send electricity down your spine and create tension that words can't replicate. So when she starts initiating these small touches on your arm, your shoulder, your hand, it's her way of testing the waters. She's checking your response without having to risk outright rejection. If you respond well, she feels safe to escalate. If you don't, she can always brush it off as playful or just friendly. It's her silent safety net. What makes it even more telling is the frequency. If she touches you once, maybe it's nothing. But if it keeps happening, if every laugh comes with a nudge, if every excuse somehow involves closing the gap and making contact, then it's no longer innocent. It's a pattern, and patterns reveal truth. So the next time you notice her hand grazing yours or her leaning into you when she doesn't have to, pay attention. That innocent touch might just be the loudest unspoken confession you'll ever get. Because when words fail, touch takes over. And when she touches you, she's telling you exactly what's on her mind, even if she'll never say it out loud. 3. Her body language opens up around you. When a woman wants you sexually but refuses to voice it, her body often reveals more than her lips ever will. Body language is an unconscious leak of desire, and once you know what to look for, you'll see the signs crystal clear. If she consistently faces you with her whole body, leans in when you speak, or keeps your posture open rather than closed off, she's signaling interest. This isn't just politeness. This is attraction written in her stance. People instinctively close off around those they don't feel connected to. But when she angles her knees, shoulders, and hips towards you, she's basically telling you, I'm tuned in. I'm open. I'm drawn to you. Pay attention to the subtle cues. Does she tilt her head slightly while you talk, exposing her neck? That's one of the most vulnerable parts of the body. And subconsciously, it's a sign of trust and attraction. Does she cross and uncross her legs more often when you're near, or shift her body closer to yours, even when there's plenty of space? These micro movements are her way of shrinking the distance without ever announcing it. Her body is literally magnetized toward yours, betraying the secret she won't say aloud. Another undeniable sign is mirroring. If you lean back and she leans back, if you take a sip and she follows right after, it's not coincidence. It's her subconscious syncing with you. Mirroring is one of the strongest nonverbal indicators of attraction because it shows alignment and connection at a deep instinctive level. When she mirrors you, her body insolently screaming, I'm in rhythm with you. And then there's the nervous energy. She may fidget with her hair, play with her jewelry, or adjust her clothes more when you're around. It's not because she's uncomfortable. It's because she's hyper aware of how she looks in front of you. It's her way of self-grooming, making sure she looks her best, without having to admit why. Here's the truth. Words can lie, but the body rarely does. When she keeps her posture open, faces you fully, and lets your physical presence gravitate closer, it's her way of confessing desire. Without ever risking rejection, she won't say, I want you, but her body will whisper it every time she leans in, every time she exposes a vulnerable angle, and every time she can't stop mirroring your movements. Learn to read those cues, and you'll never wonder again what she's really feeling. 4. She plays with her voice and laughter. A woman who wants you sexually, but would never openly admit it, often gives herself away through the way she speaks around you. Her voice becomes softer, warmer, and more playful when she's engaged with you compared to how she talks with others. This isn't by accident. Science shows that people naturally adjust their vocal tone when speaking to someone they're attracted to. If her pitch slightly rises, or she slows down her words when the conversation gets more personal, it's her subconscious trying to sound more appealing and magnetic to you. But it's not just the tone, it's also the rhythm. Notice how she laughs a little too quickly at your jokes, even the ones that aren't that funny, or how her laughter stretches longer when it's you who says something. That's not comedy gold. That's attraction working through her. Laughter is one of the most powerful bonding tools humans have. And when she keeps laughing around you, she's signaling comfort, connection, and desire, even if her words don't confess it. You'll also notice she uses playful teasing. She might joke about something you do, mimic your expressions, or throw in sarcastic remarks, but always with a smile. This isn't her being mean. It's a way of creating tension, a back and forth dynamic that feels charged with energy. Teasing is flirting in disguise, and when she singles you out for it more than anyone else, she's putting a spotlight on you without having to openly say why. Another subtle vocal giveaway is the way she lowers her voice in intimate moments. Maybe you're sitting closer, and suddenly her tone drops, almost as if she's whispering only to you. Even when others are around, that hushed voice creates a private bubble, separating you and her from the rest of the world. It's her way of drawing you in, of creating intimacy without physical contact. And finally, listen for the little stumbles. When she trips over her words, laughs nervously, or repeats herself around you. That's not clumsiness. It's adrenaline. Attraction makes the brain fire faster, and sometimes her tongue can't keep up. Those nervous slips are proof that you affect her more than she'd ever dare admit out loud. So remember, her voice is more than sound. It's a tool of seduction, a mirror of her attraction, and a confession wrapped in tone and laughter. She may not say, "I want you," but when her laughter lingers and her voice softens, her desire is already speaking volumes. 5. She gets nervously flirty around you. When a woman wants you sexually, but is too guarded to say it outright, her nerves often give her away. Attraction creates tension, and tension shows up as nervous energy, sometimes disguised as playfulness, sometimes as clumsy mistakes. If you notice she suddenly becomes more animated, fiddles with her hair, bites her lip, or struggles to find the right words when you're around, that's not random behavior. That's her body betraying the secret her mind is trying to keep. Think about it. Women who feel nothing around a guy don't fidget, don't blush, and don't stumble over their sentences. They stay calm, casual, and indifferent. But when she secretly wants you, her entire nervous system goes into overdrive. Maybe she laughs too loud at your jokes, even the dumb ones. Maybe she rambles on about something just to fill the silence. Or maybe she teases you 1 second, then quickly looks away the next. These are signs of nervous flirtation, a mix of excitement and tension that only happens when desire is in the air. Her friends might even notice it before you do. They'll catch the way she adjusts her clothes more often when you're nearby, or how she unconsciously tucks her hair behind her ear to keep your attention. She's not consciously planning these moves. They just happen, because deep down, she's hyper-aware of your presence. Every little thing you do feels amplified in her mind, and her body reacts without her permission. And let's not forget the classic blush. When you lean in close, or give her a compliment and her cheeks flush, or she tries to hide a smile, that's raw attraction, bubbling to the surface. It's an involuntary reaction, one she can't fake or control. She might try to mask it with sarcasm or by changing the subject, but that quick spark in her expression is the truth leaking out. The beauty of nervous flirtation is that it's real. It's not calculated or rehearsed. It's the purest form of attraction, a woman fighting her own instincts to stay composed while her body betrays her every time. When you spot those nervous laughs, the fidgeting, the shy glances mixed with bold teasing, you're not imagining it. You're witnessing desire in its rawest form. She won't admit it, but every stutter, every blush, every playful tease is her silent confession that she wants you more than she dares to say. 6. She remembers the smallest details about you. One of the most underrated yet powerful signs that a woman secretly wants you sexually is how well she remembers the tiniest things you say or do. Most people forget casual conversations within hours, but not her. If she's into you, her mind latches onto every detail, every story, every preference you casually mention. She'll recall the way you like your coffee, the song you said you can't get out of your head, or even the little complaint you made about your day last week. This isn't coincidence, it's focus. And focus is fueled by desire. When a woman wants you but won't say it, she invests her attention in ways other people don't. She might bring up something you said days ago and tease you about it. Or she'll surprise you by remembering your favorite snack or a random fact you shared. That level of attention isn't casual. It's intentional. It's her way of showing interest without crossing the line into outright confession. Attraction makes her mind sharper when it comes to you, and she can't help but absorb details others overlook. This is also how she tries to build a private connection. When she drops a line like, "Didn't you say you hate Mondays?" or "I remembered you love that band," she's signaling that she values what comes out of your mouth. She's mentally cataloging you, not just your words, but your habits, your style, even your quirks. It's her way of keeping you close in her thoughts, even when you're not around. And here's the key. She won't do this for everyone. If she's just being polite, her memory is surface level. But if she's secretly attracted, her brain is wired to notice you above the noise. She might notice your new haircut before anyone else. She might remember your exact phrasing from a joke weeks ago. These are subtle signs that her mind keeps circling back to you, whether she admits it or not. Why does this matter? Because remembering details is a form of intimacy. It's her subconscious weaving you deeper into her world, piece by piece. She may not openly say, "I'm drawn to you." But when she recalls thesmoless things you've said, when she brings them up unexpectedly, it's her desire doing the talking. Her memory becomes the proof. And every detail she remembers is another clue that you're on her mind, far more than she'll ever admit out loud. 7. She creates opportunities to be around you. A woman who secretly wants you sexually may never put it into words, but her actions will quietly reveal everything. One of the strongest signs is how she deliberately positions herself in your orbit. If she's constantly finding reasons to be near you, to talk to you, or to join whatever you're doing, it's not just coincidence. It's attraction in motion. She might accidentally bump into you at places she knows you'll be, or suddenly show interest in the same hobbies or conversations you're into. These aren't random chances. These are calculated moves wrapped in innocence. Watch closely. Does she linger around after group conversations just to talk to you a little longer? Does she text you with casual excuses? "I need help with this. What do you think about that?" When in reality, she could have figured it out on her own. That's her creating windows of connection. She's not going to confess, but she's setting up opportunities for the bond to grow naturally, hoping you'll pick up on it. You'll also notice she tries to insert herself into your time. Maybe she asks what your weekend plans are, not just out of curiosity, but to see if she can join in. Maybe she remembers events you mentioned weeks ago and brings them up to stay connected, even the small things like sliding into your conversations more often, or finding reasons to sit next to you are subtle signs that she's working hard to make sure she's in your space. It goes deeper. She may create coincidences that allow her to cross paths with you. She's suddenly showing up at the gym at the same time or hanging out with mutual friends more often when she knows you'll be there. Out loud, she'll brush it off as random. But in reality, it's effort, and effort always signals interest. Here's the truth. Women don't invest their time and energy into men they feel nothing for. If she's putting herself in your presence consistently, it means you're on her mind. She may not admit her attraction, but she doesn't need to. Her actions have already confessed it. When she keeps showing up, finding excuses, and making sure she's around. It's her silent way of saying, I want your clothes. And trust me, she wouldn't go to that trouble unless the desire was real. Attraction is rarely spoken outright. It's shown in whispers and body language. In the things unsaid, women often won't come forward and say, I want you. Instead, they let their eyes linger, their touch linger, their laughter stretch a little too long, and their presence orbit around you more than coincidence can explain. These aren't accidents. They're the unspoken signals of desire. The challenge is that most men miss them because they're too busy listening to words instead of watching actions. But once you learn to decode the signs, her eye contact, her touches, her nervous energy, her memory of your smallest details, you'll start seeing the truth everywhere. She may never confess it out loud, but her behavior will always betray her feelings. The key is awareness. If you pay attention, you'll notice that attraction is less about what's said and more about what's shown. A glance, a laugh, a subtle lean in your direction. Those are louder than any words she could speak. And when you finally start reading those signals, you'll realize women have been revealing their desires all along, just in ways most men never catch. So remember, when she wants you, she'll show you. Not through direct words, but through 1,000 little actions, each one quietly screaming the truth. The signs are there. It's just a matter of whether you're sharp enough to see